Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, human being, American, and YouTube Ronin. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's episode of Reserved Seats. Yes, we're back. I want to say hello to everyone currently joining us on X. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. I just realized I didn't set up a Rumble stream. Oh well. Okay, I do want to say hello to everyone currently joining us in the chat. Friend of the channel, channel member JPRPH1. Faithful Blue Wrench channel member, the Bird Woman of YouTube. Watch out for her channel, Fluff Chick Productions. It's Connie Cleary. Friend of the channel, Lizzie Armstrong. Bringing the Geeky Geese's raid, Last Call with Troy Pacelli. Bringing the Netters Network raid. Netters Network. Our resident Klingon, Mark Malnikoff. Kopla. All right. My guest is waiting backstage, so without any further ado, let's bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, the tired midnight blogger, the voice of Northern Oklahoma, Curtis Selby.
Yes, Mr. Vance. What I'm trying to tell you is this time the Pope's got to return undamaged or people are going to start talking. Look, I'm sorry, Mr. Vance. I got to go. I got an important thing going on here. Bye, Mr. Vance. Click. Hi.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I had to take another call there.
You know, I got to at least do something. I mean, he keeps breaking popes. It's got to stop. It's just got to stop.
I know. It's oh my God. You know, it's just the
and all the Catholics in the room are now like mad at me.
Yeah,
well,
I know.
You know. Oh, thank you for having me on here. It's always a pleasure, joy, all that spiffy stuff. And look at all these wonderful people in the chat.
You have checked off the first box, which is upset members of a major religion.
Yeah, it's a skill I have. No one can seem to take from me. John Ponerero says he's a recliner. I don't get it.
I'm a lazy boy. What? It's for you.
Yeah, that's
you to find out. Okay.
Mark Markoff says I've been drinking the sacramental wine. No, I have not, but I sure wish I had. But I'll still try to be entertaining.
I have another.
Hey, this is stronger than I'm used to it. But
I am a drunk. I mean, a fine wine connoisseur. Anyway.
I didn't do it.
No one said you did it.
Oh.
That is your problem. You keep claiming that you didn't do it before anybody asks if you actually did it. I mean, that's what makes you look so shady.
Me? Shady? No. Just because I escaped from that episode of Breaking Bad? No, and I'm not shady.
No. I was not the person of interest.
No, I'm not.
No.
I don't look anything like Caviezel.
No.
Sadly. Kind of wish I did.
No. I got mistaken for Christian Slater once.
That's cool.
It is.
I never got mistaken for anybody cool.
That was actually a nice moment until the young lady realized I was not him, and was little forlorn. Moving on.
Nothing to see here, citizen.
Nothing to see here. Move on. So, perfect segue about that. Well, you've
baffled everyone.
kind of made a bit of news lately within our particular a circle of our little Manson family that we've got going on here, and well, you have a new channel.
I do have a new channel,
which is.
It is Nothing to See Here, citizen.
Okay. And well, I brought you on because I was curious about this myself, because I don't know all of the details.
What am I smoking? That's what you're wondering.
Well, since we're on the subject and you've brought it up, yes. What are you smoking?
Believe it or not, nothing. This
really?
Craziness is all natural.
I would have thought that you had gotten into some special, shall we say, the leaf,
The dude abides.
The dude abides.
Yeah.
And will continue to abide. And she, fuck, man, she kidnapped herself, And anyway, she did. Well,
great movie.
Technically, she didn't, though. She just went to Vegas and didn't tell anybody. Spoiler alert! No.
All right. I must have missed it, because did they ever explain if he got any of the money?
There was no money.
Well, yeah, that's true. But people kept agreeing to pay him, so I don't know.
No. All right. Well, the way, and hello to Pleasant Valley Picker. Good to see
you. Hey, PvP.
All right. Now, but yeah, there is a whole question of. Sorry, folks, we're going into Big Lebowski here because we just saw it. Right, because we know that the kidnapping didn't happen.
Right.
We know that the millionaire's broke.
Yes.
And that it's not his money, it's the daughter's money.
Yes.
All right, but the thing is, the quote unquote nihilists. How do they know that, though? Who told them, and how did they know?
I think
to set all of that up, because Bunny didn't tell anybody that she didn't tell anybody that she was leaving.
No, she didn't.
So so it's like this chain of, so that alone, this chain of dominoes falls down. How did the nihilists know that now's the time to strike with the whole, the whole kidnapping plot? Because they don't know Lebowski's broke.
Right.
Maud screws up and sends her goons to the dude's house. None of it makes sense.
No, none of it makes sense.
None of it makes sense.
I feel like
it's great.
I feel like I understand it better than I understand most Lynchian projects. I'm not saying I don't enjoy Lynchian projects, but
it's not Lynch though. It's
not Lynch.
Coen Brothers.
That's right.
Which is a whole other brand of crazy, especially Ethan. But we can go into that in another time. And I'm convinced he pretty much wrote most of Lebowski. That's him. I'm sorry. I am to the point with the Coen Brothers now that I can tell which brother wrote which part of which movie. Because I'm starting to understand, yeah, they're brothers, but there are differences in personalities.
And I'm confusing
And
PvP here. Sorry, go ahead.
No, we're not. We just he referenced Lebowski, The Big Lebowski, and we watched it the other night on Troy's member chat, Troy's member show the other night on, and so we're still mulling over certain plot points of it. So, no, we are not discussing the film. Not a Coen Brothers fan. I can understand they're kind of an acquired taste. They're not for everybody.
I'll be honest.
Find them
15, 20 years
pretentious
ago.
and popular opinion. Yeah. I try to be honest. That's fine. I understand. Opinion. That's fine.
I don't think I've watched any of their other films. What else have they done?
Well, No Country for Old Men. That's their adaptation of the Cormac McCarthy novel.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
Which they
I hear it was good.
pretty closely to. Yeah, they don't really drift from it. They did the Jeff Bridges version of True Grit.
Oh, okay, I did like that.
And again, that's closer to the source material than the John Wayne version was.
Yes.
They did Fargo.
Oh, I've seen bits and pieces of Fargo. I've not seen it all the way through.
Raising Arizona.
Loved Raising Arizona.
Miller's Crossing.
Never heard of it.
Blood Simple.
Heard of it, never seen it.
But yeah, I've kind of learned enough about the brothers now that I can kind of tell which one wrote what part of which movie. Okay. I can tell. Ethan did the Lebowski. I'm sorry, guys. But he did. I can tell. Yeah.
Well, I got us all distracted. Mark Malnikoff wants to know if I broke YouTube. No, but I have evidently upset them quite a bit.
Right. Well, let's. Well, I mean, that was the main crux of the conversation tonight. Let's get into that. George is my favorite book. The perfect Frankie Dandy.
Nice.
Nice.
Good one, John. Good one.
Indeed. So let's get into that and kind of start from the beginning because I am.
Okay. Well, I mean, I started the channel. We talked about this already as far as my origin story. I was bitten by a radioactive spider and it made me just arbitrarily want to do YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've actually talked about the real story, but I'll give the Cliff's Notes version. I wanted to make YouTube videos, so I started making them, and I was kind of crappy at it, but I had fun with it. So I just kept doing it, and then finally I got into this community and learned. I still have a ton to learn, but I've learned a ton from you folks. And so I started doing streaming, and I was having fun doing that, and people were actually coming on and listening and sharing. And then I won't go too deep into it because I don't want to offend people with it, but I went from being a hardcore centrist. I was like very much one of these people that felt like, and I still to an extent do feel this way, that a lot of the things that people will say, well, the Democrats do bad things or the Republicans do bad things. If you look at it, the bad things are being done by both sides. I still feel that there's a lot of truth to that. But I had my own shift in view after the Trump assassination. And again, I don't want to get too deep into that because I don't want to bog your channel down with the things that YouTube has evidently gotten upset with me about. I still tried to be fair. I still tried to listen to the other side. I still tried to be respectful. Evidently, I failed because one of my good friends told me that he liked the channel better when when I wasn't pandering to the Republicans. I didn't resent that at all. But anyway, but when, I grew really slowly for about a year, but I grew really quickly after I met you guys. You and Troy and Netter and Gorillas and Connie Cleary and, all of you people. Accounting Sheep, ahoy to you. And I'd also like to say, bye.
Good to see you.
So I grew to the point where I could do that initial monetization thing. I had about 700, and I still have about 737 subscribers. And I had the watch hours. So I went and I applied. And the response that I got was that my channel was full of harmful material. And then I go to the site that they direct you to. And to me, it's about as worthless as tits on a boar hog. Because there's like all these things. And I'm thinking, I know I'm not guilty of all these things. Is there any possible way I could figure out the specifics? Like, did I say something that could be construed as insulting or something that could be construed as threatening or what have you? So I've been editing videos. I've been deleting videos. I've been editing videos and then putting them on Rumble instead. They have no problem monetizing my stuff. And but the long and the short of it is, the last message I got was that I could try again on June something or other, but it's like a brick wall. I've tried to go to places, say, if you need personal help, click here. And then there's crickets. There's no response. There's no nothing. So I'm going to say just one more political thing. I can't help but think that I just wasn't strongly enough in the orange man bad category. But whether it's good or legit or what, they don't seem to be apt to monetize me. So I decided, one of my favorite poems is the poem If. And there's a line in there, I won't get it exact, but if you can see all of your dreams broken down and then stoop and pick them up and rebuild them with worn out tools, then you're a man. And I've always kind of felt like that poem was a little over the top, really, but it is still a good standard to try to live by. So what I've decided to do was to start a new channel. And I kind of dragged my feet about it. Procrastinated too much. And then on top of that, work has just been slamming the crap out of me. So unfortunately, all I have on there at the moment is 5 videos of Cassie, which have gotten a pretty fair amount of views. I got to admit that. And then a live stream I finally put out today that has a whopping 3 views. Thank you very much, by the way, to Gorilla Censored Thoughts and Accounting Sheep, because I know you were 2 of those views. And there it is. So, I mean, that's the Cliff's Notes version. There's still more to be said, but PvP says Curtis's harmful material equals truth. Thank you very much. And Clue Studios saluting Popular Guy and Curtis Selby. I don't know who Popular Guy is, but I'll take the salute.
I think that's supposed to be me. Hello, Clue Studio. All right. County Seep says, you should do what I do. My top 5 geographies include Uzbekistan, Bangladesh, and India. Audience can't be offended if they don't speak English. True. Well, that's the thing, is that that's okay, Connie. And the thing is that you never know what's going to hit as far as your content is concerned, or
Right.
where, you know. There was a time early on when I was popular with German men between 18 and
Mm-hmm.
44.
Very interesting.
I don't know what that says about me, but
That is in no way suspect, Comrade Stephen.
no, no, and but I do have people from other countries who subscribe to my channel and who I do know watch my content, and they let me know, and but you never know. You never really know how you're going to hit and where and with who. It's a crapshoot.
It really is.
It's learning curve, and it's not like YouTube exactly goes overboard to help you out.
Nope.
And Mark Mounikoff is saying, so you're saying YouTube is deep state thing going on.
Nah.
Now with me, and this is just, I'm going off of my experience. I've heard different people have had different things. I don't get hit over political content all that much. And I don't do a lot of it. But in what I have done, I think I've made it very clear what side of the fence I'm on. Because I was someone who was at one point like you. I was very much a centrist.
Yes.
I was somebody who was raised with certain ideals. And I did my best to stick by them, and sort of, politics be damned.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as the extent of my political knowledge was, we have a constitution, let's stick to it.
Yeah, well, that would be nice, but
yeah, it would be nice. But it's so rarely ever done. So that was really more my thing.
Yeah.
Except in recent years. And when you're dealing with a group, and I'm not, again, folks, I am not attacking everyone on the left. I am talking about this very small, very loud group who are using the same rhetoric as bullies on a schoolyard.
Yeah.
As a lot of the left-wing teachers I had, and it would be pretty safe to say most of them were pretty unapologetically. And if you hear that same rhetoric, you kind of decide which side you're on pretty fast.
Yeah.
And I felt that I had gotten to a point to where, okay, I am now in a situation where I have to pick a side.
Yeah, as much as it sucks.
As much as that sucks to do. And I chose one. And I know that upsets some people.
Right. Oh yeah, I know.
Subscribe to my channel.
My friends. Yeah.
And even I had someone who was even a channel member who left, and I said, I'm not upset. Didn't even have to tell me, but did, and explained why.
Yeah, that's actually cool. Yeah.
I get it. It's unfortunate because I think this was a really super cool person. Although we just disagreed on this one thing, really. And then, okay,
Do you remember when you could disagree on politics, but you still loved each other as friends, brothers, whatever? You know?
Yeah.
What happened to that?
That's why I always differentiate between what I refer to as the classic liberal to,
Yes.
you know, dare I say it, those who are straight up communists.
Yeah.
And, this whole woke mind virus thing that's going on. I look at the Democratic Party and I see a party that is fractured into sort of these three very distinct factions.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the Republicans are always necessarily better.
Oh, they
They are
definitely
not.
got their issues too.
They have their issues too.
Yes, I
Um,
picked a side, but I am
yeah,
still open to listening to criticism.
sure.
As long as it's legit and intelligent, I'll listen. I may not come to agree with you, and I think I should have that right. But I will listen. I have gotten a little more hardcore about not listening to people who are by my definition are abusive people.
Hmm.
But just disagreeing with my politics is not, that's not abusive. That's just having a different mindset. There ought to be some way to to have a dialogue without, well, you're a Nazi, well, you're a communist, and like you were saying now, and I agree with you. Don't get me wrong, but you're saying that there's a small group of people in the Democrat Party who are basically communists.
Hmm.
But then the trouble is, we say something like that, and a lot of the Dems that aren't communists will feel, well, they're calling us communists. But then it will happen on the other side where there is a small group of Republicans who probably are right-wing fascists. They're not the people that everyone says are the ones, but they're there, I'm sure. But then some people will want to extrapolate, well, if you're Republican, if you voted for Trump, that means all of you are fond of the mustache man. It's really irritating. And Sci-Fi
Yeah.
Sif Dan, hello there. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, hello. All right. So yeah, I mean, I've had ist and phobe thrown at me literally ever since I was a toddler. So it's like, I've heard it. I'm going to be 52 next month. And it has been the same rhetoric from the same groups of people that entire time. They are never going to change.
Yeah.
So it's like I have chosen to ignore these people. Go throw ist and phobe at somebody else. Race bait somewhere else.
Yeah.
You want to, you feel it necessary to burn down your own neighborhood because you're upset over something, then burn down your own neighborhood because all you're doing is just hurting yourself.
Yep. Pretty much.
And it gets old. It's shtick. That's what I call it. And I've seen it and I've heard it, and these same people tell me that we're going to leave you behind. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Good. I'm fine where I am.
It seems to me like back in the 80s, you had some Dems that would call Reagan ist or what have you. But it seems like that was a small percentage. It wasn't the people in control. And it didn't seem to permeate very deeply into the common man, like the person that was just a normal human being and had nothing to do with politics except they had a D by their name and voted mostly, but often not entirely Democrat, as a lot of your Republicans used to didn't vote entirely Republican. They weren't the ones saying this stuff. You could talk to them and be, I disagree with Reagan on this, but he's not evil. He's not a mustache man follower. That's just a bunch of propaganda. We know it. We see through it. But now it seems like people who I thought were very intelligent, very kind, very loving people have totally fallen for that lie. And to be honest, I fell for it for a while. That was part of the journey, and I don't want to make that the focus of this discussion, but one of the reasons why I went through the change was because I was foolish enough to go online with you people with no preconceived notions. Well, honestly, with the preconceived notions that CNN was telling the truth, that MSNBC was telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But then after the attempt on Trump's life, let me put it this way. And Sci-Fi Sith Dan, I agree. Old school Democrats are a dying breed. Yeah. If there are any left, they're overshadowed by other factions. When the attempt was made on Trump's life, I had people who I thought were actually better, smarter, and kinder than myself who were saying things like, darn, it's a shame that they missed.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be better if he were out of the picture? Yeah, I know he pumped his fist, but this was staged. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, today, we have the unfortunate announcement that Biden has a virulent, aggressive form of colon cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I haven't looked enough. I haven't looked enough to know who all has said what, but I did bookmark something today. This is Donald Trump Jr. He shared, breaking, Joe Biden has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Politics aside, we wish him a speedy recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finding that that's not all, sadly, but a lot of the Republicans that I'm hanging out with anyway, that's their attitude. They're not saying stuff like, yeah, he has it coming. That's blankety blank. He deserves to die painfully of cancer. And now I wonder why YouTube says I say, bad stuff. But anyway, to me, there's a huge difference there. This is the thing we should say. This is what we should be feeling in our heart. But even if we don't feel it in our heart, we should at least be civilized enough to say about our political opponent, this is an unfortunate thing. We do not want him to pass away. We do not want him to suffer. We want him to get better. Yeah. We shouldn't be joking and laughing about our opponent. Who is the ist here?
Yeah. I mean, as someone who was looking at a possible colon cancer diagnosis here very recently.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I understand what that's like. Fortunately for me, for those of you who maybe don't know my channel, and don't know the story, um, I've been facing some health issues over the last few months, and so I went in. I got checked out, um, and I had a colonoscopy. My first one probably should not have been at my age. I probably should have done it a long time before, but I kind of procrastinated on it because I'm not very big on doctors' offices and hospitals
Right
because
on.
I have I have a reason for that. But I had issues, so I went in and I had a checkup, and they said, well, we're going to need to do a colonoscopy and get you checked out. And basically, they found polyps on my colon and on my gallbladder, and that's what was causing all the pain. Now, thankfully, it's not cancer,
Oh,
but
good.
it's something that I now
That's
have to kind of look out for and keep in
yes.
mind. So I get that, and the other side of the coin, the other thing that were bringing up is that you know let's flip this on its head. Imagine if that was Biden in Butler, Pennsylvania,
Yeah, exactly.
and somebody took that shot at him, and he had just as much of the incompetent
Yeah,
security
yeah.
around him as Trump did.
Which, for all we know, could have been a possibility. I mean, there's
Now,
all kind of stuff.
I would say, because I am somebody who, this is something that I take very serious.
Yes.
You do not threaten the life of the sitting president of the United States, regardless of party, regardless of whether you agree with the guy or not. That is something you do not do. You do not even joke about it. There was a time where
No.
even if you joked about it, you got investigated.
Yeah.
I don't know why that stopped. But my thing is always that is something that you do not do. You do not, under any circumstances, even if you are joking, threaten the life of the president or his family or anybody on his cabinet. It is just something you do not do. So let's reverse it in our minds. What if that was Biden and Butler and he
Yeah.
took that shot in the ear? I would be just as angry
Exactly.
as I was on that day. If he was on a golf course at Mar-a-Lago and there was somebody at the fence line getting ready to take shots at him, I would be just as angry and be going, get some proper security around this man.
Mm-hmm.
He is the leader of our country. Even if I didn't vote for him, that's not the point.
Exactly.
The point is he is still the leader of the country, and he still demands that respect and protection.
So I take it that that is your thoughts on our wonderful ex FBI director Comey.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I haven't been. I never was, honestly. But and hello, Outlaw Bill. Hail and well met.
Yes, I do not want the. Let me go back here because the chat is jumping, and I don't want to come off like I am
Yeah.
ignoring anyone. Like Malikoff, it's sad as well the way he was used and how here those around him covered up the issues he was having. It's disrespectful to him in the office of the president. Yes, because it we are not evil people. On a whole, there are evil people, but as a whole, as a country, we are not evil people. Most of us are just people who want to go about our lives and be left alone. We, the general public, do not wish ill will on these people. We just don't. You know, um, you know, he's got this aggressive form of cancer. That is terrible. I don't want to hear
Yeah,
that. I just, like I said, you know, I was facing that. I don't
yeah,
want just the stress of the worry
yeah.
of that
My
is enough,
brother-in-law,
you know?
my brother-in-law, the man who married my sister,
Mhm.
was literally the finest man I ever knew, ever. And that that's what happened to him.
Mhm.
Was he got a very, like, much more aggressive than the normal prostate cancer. They gave him 2 months to live. He lived 2 years, but he eventually did pass away. And just watching that, I literally would not wish that on Mustache Man. I would not wish that on anybody because it's just too terrible. Um, and hello, Sashi, the man from the future.
Mhm. Pleasant Valley says,
Uh,
by the way, my cousin told me a month ago he has prostate cancer. It's devastated. His wife was battling lung cancer and she never smoked. Wow.
that's terrible. I'm so
That's
sorry, PvP.
terrible.
We'll
I
be
wish them
praying
both
for
well.
you.
Yeah.
We'll be
And
praying
again,
for you.
hello to Outlaw Bill, my partner in crime, my co-host on, wow, really, I'm the co-host, on his show, um, Western Cinema Presents and Action Theater. Coming up, just a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Housekeeping. A little bit of housekeeping here. Thursday, Action Theater returns to its normal time, normal day and time. Thursday at 4:30, and we are going to be watching Das Boot, the classic William Peterson submarine film, World War II from the side of the of the German Navy. Very interesting film. Doesn't go in the direction you think it's going to, so check
Oh
that out.
wow, I've never
Um,
seen it.
yeah, it's actually a German miniseries. There's like a 5 hour version of it,
Wow.
but we are not going to be showing that. We're going to be showing the theatrical edit, which is still like 2 hours and 20 minutes or so, but
Long enough.
it's a good one. Um, it's where Jurgen Prochnow kind of first became known to American audiences through that film. Um, there's a fellow in it named Herbert Grönemeyer who's kind of like a German Springsteen. He was a singer and he did this
Ah,
film. And
I thought that was
uh,
David Hasselhoff.
well, this guy was kind of like their Hasselhoff, I guess.
Oh.
And Otto Sander, who, if you ever saw Wings of Desire, was Cassius.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
and he's in
weird.
it.
I actually love
He's
that
in it as
movie.
well. I love that movie too.
I
And
liked it better than the American, the one with Nicholas. I mean, I like that one
which is
too,
good
but
too. It's just it goes into a different direction.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, there's Far Away So Close, the sequel, which is pretty good.
I
Which
haven't
is where
seen that one.
I started listening to
Ooh.
Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds because of that movie. Um,
Ah,
yeah, so
PvP.
yeah, check that out. And of course, we for Memorial Day we do this Action Theater Extra Dose that we've been doing This is like our third year doing it now, or at least the third year doing it since I've been involved with the show. And we're going to, which is going to be on Saturday, and we're going to be watching The Guns of Navarone with Gregory Peck.
Oh,
So,
nice. That's a great film.
That's
a great film.
West, some people find
PvP.
out about Quebec. They'll stay with the East. Yeah, that whole situation with and is Quebec going to split off from the rest of Canada? Maybe it might now. I don't know. Um,
We definitely live in
let's
interesting
see.
times.
Yeah, Comey just
Oh,
got in
and
trouble for. Hopefully, he will. Yeah, and hello, Shashi. Yeah,
Sashi, yeah, I
I'm
want to
behind
respond.
here.
I want to respond to Sashi here. I have
Okay.
let myself fall off of streaming regularly, and I apologize about that. My lame excuse, to be blunt, it's kind of discouraging to have fought so hard to get monetized and then have this happen. But the biggest real reason, but I might have been able to. I think I could have overcome it if I weren't discouraged. But work is kicking my tail. I'm not meaning to complain. They pay my bills. They're mostly pretty good to me, but there's way too many Mondays, and like the nights I want to stream, it's almost like they know let's work him the longest on those nights. But no, Sashi, I know you have some wonderful material, and I had fully intended to share some of it, and I dropped the ball. So I know I've got my lame excuses, but I do apologize because uh, they're not perfectly legitimate. I mean, they're legitimate, but they're not like Superman would have come through for you. I did. So
Well, that's the thing. Is those of us who there are people who do this, who go on YouTube, and that's how they make their money, and that's how they pay
yeah,
their bills, and that's great. But then again, you have most of the people who are on YouTube who are not at that level
yeah,
yet. Um, if this was something that I could pay all my bills on and still have money left over, I would do it.
same here, totally.
But that I'm not there. I got bills to pay.
Yeah,
And StreamYard,
yeah,
kind of expensive, and
yeah.
which
It's
is
not there.
why I might be switching here soon. And
Yeah, I paid for a year of it
yeah,
in the old job because I was making really good money, and I don't want to talk about it here because I'd hate for anyone from my old job to hear the reason why I felt like I had to leave. But the
I could
long and the
guess.
short of it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we may have talked about it backstage or through Twitter or something, but
Mm.
uh, and like most of the people, 90% of the people in that old job were amazing people, and wonderful people. And I don't want to criticize the company too much because they were good to me when my son was having his heart failure, and they let me take all the time off I needed to, and the people had a big fundraiser thing and came up with some money to help me out, so I don't want to completely denigrate the company that I left, but there were reasons why I felt like I needed to move on, and I still think it was the right thing to do, but this new job is a lot harder to schedule around than the old one was, and it's just what it is. I have to find the way to deal with that and overcome it or adapt to it. So Lizzie Armstrong says that the colon cancer parallels women's ovarian C as the highest incidence of cancer.
Mm.
And Sashi says, just channel your inner Asian, Curtis Selby.
Of course.
I should indeed. So should I do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got to tell you guys this, and I'm seeing what you're all saying in the chat here, and I feel for everyone who's lost
Yeah.
someone to cancer. I lost my uncle to stomach cancer, and when they brought that up as a possible diagnosis for me, that brought a lot of things back and a lot of bad memories, and so I get it. Um, yeah, it's not something I would wish on anyone, really.
No.
And hopefully we will get some kind of cure soon.
That would be great.
But getting off of that subject, Pleasant Valley Picker does have a question. Can I get an opinion from you guys? Been thinking of doing a Burn Notice TV series watch party once a week. Would anyone be interested? I would, actually. I'm a fan of that show. And that, and also the spin-off movie that Bruce Campbell's character got. I'm a big fan of that as well. Yeah, DM me on Twitter and let me know about when you're thinking of doing the show, and if it's something that works around my schedule. Yeah, I'd love to be involved.
You can do it.
Sure.
You can do it. Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, Burn Notice, good, very good show.
I never watched it. Never have. I've heard it's great.
It's about it's. Think the Equalizer, the Edward Woodward Equalizer, the real Equalizer.
Ooh,
think that, but funny.
Nice.
And it's this guy who's a spy. He gets burned. He winds up in Miami, where it's kind of like a trapped in paradise type situation. And he's got to deal with his mother, who's like this hypochondriac, this ex-girlfriend who's a complete nutcase. And he's got Bruce Campbell, who's his best friend, who's
amazing.
This like ex-Navy SEAL who's just decided he's going to stay on the beach and drink beer.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun.
This is totally off topic, but my favorite ever RPG character was a gunslinger in the Pathfinder game system. Mm-hmm. And he was mostly based off of two characters. One was Ash from Evil Dead, and one was Stan from Stan Against Evil. He's so fun to play. It's just sarcasm and bullets all over the place. It's so fun.
I'll bet.
Mark Malikoff, PvP, lost his sister to breast cancer 20 years ago, and granddad before that. Wow. He's also saying work sucks, but I got to pay rent, and he's asking if I'm doing rotating shifts. It's not that it's rotating shifts. It's like I know they're not doing this on purpose, but it seems like when I try to schedule streaming, that's going to be the 9, 10, 11 hour day. And and when I hate talking about it, but I have this chronic fatigue syndrome. It's embarrassing. It's dumb. I hate it. But I have to be very careful how I use my energy because it can be very bad. If I was still 20 and didn't have this, I used to laugh at people that, I work 12 hours. Oh, whoop de crap. I work 18 hours all the time, but I can't do that anymore. And Accounting Sheep says I could never give up my day job. Making fun of my coworkers is half of my content. And Burn Notice is one of PvP's top 10 series.
Oh yeah, it's very good, and it's not one of those shows that gets canceled and ends on a cliffhanger either. You actually do get an ending.
Oh, nice!
So,
I love that.
So, yeah, I like that too. So the mothers from Cagney and Lacey sharing glass. Yeah,
that's cool.
It is. It is.
PvP's favorite shows: Trek, the original series, 60s Avengers with Emma Peel, which I've just been watching a little bit of that on in that community. It's so fun. Wild Wild West, which I have not seen anything but the movie, which was very disappointing, and Burn Notice, which I have not seen.
Mm-hmm. So. 7 seasons, yeah.
So what I'm planning on doing with this new channel, because I like to make segues that just give you whiplash. Mm-hmm. I'm going to desperately try not to say the political things. I'm going to just, like today I did my Voice of Northern Oklahoma. One of the reasons why I've chosen to do that series is, one, I'm thinking it might be cool to get some local sponsors and make a little bit of money that way, and also connect with the community. But two, I will be less tempted to say political things if I'm talking about Oklahoma politics. I'm much less likely to say Governor Stitt is X, Y, or Z, as opposed to Biden or Orange Man or Comey or Tulsi Gabbard. I've stated my opinions about those people. I'm very opinionated about those people, and it's not going to change. Mm-hmm. But YouTube doesn't like it. So, I've also been thinking about doing something else, which is I want to throw it out to you guys, because on one hand, I think it's a complete contradiction of what I just said. But I have some system, maybe not method, but system to the madness. I have a friend of mine who's one of my right-wing friends, right? But he's a great guy, very helpful. He's if you watch my Voice of Northern Oklahoma, he's literally one of the paid sponsors that I've got. I've got 4 of them, and 2 of them are in the chat right now. But he was almost as upset as I was at my friend calling me a panderer to the Democrats. And so he thought it would be clever to do something called the donkey panderer. And basically, if you've seen TJ Awaken with, I think it's Awaken with TJ. Have you seen that channel?
No, I haven't.
Oh, well, he's like, he's kind of like us, only he used to be more like a hippie type. But now he's kind of where we're at on a lot of this stuff. And he does these skits that are just kind of hilarious. And so I thought about doing something kind of like that. Another reason why I'm thinking about doing that is, here a while back, I made a short and I mistitled it because I let the AI I just lazily let the AI do everything. And the AI titled it Revealing the Accomplishments of the Biden Administration. literally has nothing to do with the short whatsoever. But that's what the AI decided to title it. Would you like to guess what the most viewed thing on my channel is? It's that.
That video, yeah.
Which is barely maybe a month old.
Yeah.
And yet YouTube says that, oh, there's no waiting on any of this. But I got stuff that I think is really good that has 30 views, but that piece of crap, just because it has that title, has 8,000 views. And so I've wondered, maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe I have the wrong attitude about it. Please let me know. Or you don't necessarily have to tell me right here, but unless you just want to. But I've really thought that it might be fun to have a show called the Donkey Panda instead of the Donkey Panderer, because I think that extra is just too much. And just have some silly things where, if you know me, you know I'm actually making fun of the opposition. But if you don't know me, you can just assume, oh, he's one of us. He agrees with all this stuff. I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if that's a bad idea. I definitely have very smart friends who say it's a bad idea, but I can't help but think it could be fun. So if I don't do it on the new channel, I might just do some of them on the old channel because I'm already screwed there anyway.
And that's Awaken with JP. Did I get that
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, I have seen this guy, but I'm subscribed to him now.
Yeah, I think he's funny. I apologize if because he may not be so funny to people who think differently. I get that. But no, I think he's hilarious. Firefly should have had 7 seasons. I think PvP got comment of the stream right there. Just saying.
Yeah.
So weird story here that has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about.
Okay.
I was dating this girl, woman. I'm not that weird and freaky, but I was dating this woman some years back, right? 2 or 3, 4 years after I'd left my ex-wife. And I didn't tell anybody about it because I just didn't think about it. So I go see her, and we're playing D&D and having a good time. And she tells me about this thing that was famous at the time online, where Goofy is having a murder trial. And I shared it with my friends. Well, I hadn't been responding to my friends' texts or things because I was flirting with this woman and playing D&D. So they got worried because it was like, why in the world would he not respond to us and then just out of the blue share this video of Goofy in a murder trial? So they were afraid that something might have happened. And you're thinking, what in the world is Curtis telling the story for? Here it is. Here's the punchline. We decided we needed a code word for in case we ever were in some kind of horrible situation, I needed to share out a code. We decided that it would be Firefly sucks because it's something that none of us would ever say. Now that I've killed the conversation, would you like to start it back up, Steven?
Oh my God. All righty. Brown coats. I am not affiliated with this man.
Sashi, maybe start talking about Vietnam. Didn't you say you had some views? Yeah, for quite a while, I had more people viewing me in Vietnam than anywhere else, but that's gone away. It's gone back to being mostly Americans.
Okay. Did Goofy off Mickey?
Oh, this you just would have to watch the video. I probably can't say much about it without YouTube just getting upset. But it's funny. It's dark humor, but I think it's funny. Basically, Mickey Mouse is mad at Goofy because he did a bunch of murdering, and his lawyer's trying to get him off scot-free, and Goofy's being really stupid. And anyway.
Firefly sucks. Curtis is dead to
Curtis
me.
is dead to me. I really wouldn't blame you if I'd said it in seriousness. I love Firefly.
Yeah.
Malcolm Reynolds.
Good show.
Yeah. I can't. It's just a great show. The Critical Drinker came out with a video here the other day, reviewing it. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, I think he and Mahler, I think, were watching that, weren't they? Didn't they do like a series of watch parties for it?
I think so. I didn't see them, but I saw the review. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. No, Mark. You got to understand. They split up because they both had to transition and didn't realize that if they both transitioned, they could still stay together.
I refrain from talking about the mouse, but you fill in the blanks.
Fill in the blanks. Right on.
No, I only have 3 fingers, but I give it a shot. Anyway.
Oh, Mickey Mouse. I still love the line. Go ahead. Sorry.
Characters in Firefly are so good. I can't pick a favorite.
It is tough. It's really tough. There was a series of novels I always intended to write, and I finally did get the rough draft written, but all that was lost when my computer crashed about a year ago.
Oh, man.
So I'm rewriting it. The reason why I'm bringing it up with this context is the main character, I would swear that Joss Whedon was reading my mind because it was Malcolm Reynolds. That's who it was. I mean, it wasn't him, but his attitude and his actions and just being a badass, but yet a everyman. So I had to change all of that, I mean, not all of it, but I had to make it so that it didn't look like I just ripped off Malcolm Reynolds, But it is hard to pick a favorite because each one of them is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Especially the chicks.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be in my bunk.
Yeah. Joss Whedon, you mad wonderful bastard. That's what I said. When they had that reveal of who that ambassador was, I went, Joss Whedon, you mad wonderful bastard.
Indeed. Saucy said,
yeah, you and me both, pal.
Yeah. I mean, everyone talks about American politics, even if they're not Americans. It seems to be true. Yes, that's
Kaylee.
Sorry. Kaylee.
Hey.
Oh, and the sad thing is, I know someone who looks like that or used to look like that. And her brother was one of my best friends. So when Firefly came out, we all had kind of uncomfortable moments of trying to talk to him without, being too weird about that. But PvP says it's Jane. He's resourceful, tough, funny in a stupid way, and crude. If you follow my comments, I love a good, tasteless love joke. Toxic male. PvP, toxic masculinity. That's the show he should do. Toxic masculinity with PvP.
All right. Well, we have gone past the time that you said you had to.
Yes, it would probably be best if I
kind of ended it here and
go crash.
So okay.
The bunk is calling.
Let us know where can we find you?
Well, obviously you can still find me at the Tired Blogger, but the new channel is it's actually here. I promise. Am I able to share on here?
Did I give you a wrench?
I don't remember, honestly.
Okay.
Let's see. Honestly.
Let me see. Say something in my chat.
Something in your chat. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm a member, but I'm not a wrench, which is cool. I'm not hopefully I'm not being stupid about it. But,
okay. Say something again.
Say something again. Okay. Mm-hmm. I will say howdy again. With a 3 at the end for right. Okay. Hey, look at that. I'm a mod.
There you go.
I will use my power despotically.
Yes.
No, I'm just teasing.
Rule with an iron fist.
There's a couple of people who've been silly.
Bow your heads.
I've actually blocked one person on one channel. I feel so proud. But this person really had it coming. It was on Sci-Fi Mombi's channel, and someone was saying something very crude and just not right. And I didn't even hesitate. She was getting this irritated look on her eyes, and I just blocked him.
Yeah.
I didn't regret it at all. But I have yet to block anyone on my channel. I've gotten to where I ignore people on my channel. Like nobody here, but anyway. All right. You can reach me right there. Haha. Nothing to see here, citizen. I thought that was clever because, YouTube is not oppressing. It's not violating freedom of speech at all. It's not taking a side. There's nothing to see here, citizen. So.
All right. So what I would like everyone to do right now, if you have not yet done so, is to please head on over to Curtis's new channel, Nothing to See Here, Citizen, and please do as I have done and subscribe. Of course, we have the 5 Cassie videos, and we also have the first live stream.
Live stream, yes. Those are all logos that Troy Pacelli designed. He asked me what I thought of them. I said, hey, I think they're great. Can I use them? And then he forgot all about it. So I decided to use the one with Cassie because they're all great, but that's my favorite one.
Yes.
The one with Cassie.
Right on.
But I do definitely intend to keep doing the voice of Northern Oklahoma there. I intend to make all my silly shorts of Cassie over there. And I may do the Donkey Panda, or I may do something else. Y'all please let me know what you would like. And we'll... Curtis Selby, all shall worship me and despair. How did you know that was in my thoughts? He's a mind reader. Connie's lost count of how many times she's blocked people on Dino's channel. Once on Troy, once on Netters for being a jerk to aged boomer. Good on you.
Oh, good. All right. And
thank you very much.
While I have everyone here, Bill has reminded me that we have our next upcoming action theater streams up right now. Let me share screen very quickly. And this actually would be a good way for me to let everybody know what we're up to. Of course, like I said, Tuesday at the 7 p.m., the Mystery Movie Night podcast. Right after that, live from Sparkwood and 21, where we're going to be watching The Elephant Man from 1981. Action Theater on Thursday at 4:30, where we're going to be watching Das Boot. The Saturday show at 3:30, where we're going to be watching The Guns of Navarone. And Western Cinema presents on the 25th, Clint Eastwood in Cry Macho. From 2021, the last film that he appeared in. And coming up on the 29th, Memphis Belle.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen that in a minute.
Yes, from 1990. And I believe the next one after that, which will be on the Saturday after, is going to be Bat 21 with Gene Hackman and Danny Glover, Vietnam film. Based on a true story. So.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, so that's what I have coming up.
And thank you, Lizzie. You're too kind. And Cassie loves Fifi, although she does look at birds kind of like they might be dinner. But anyway.
All right. Well, I thank you, Curtis, once again.
Thank you very much.
Taking the time out of your schedule to come on and appear on the show.
It's always a blast. I love everybody here. This is a great community, and I'm just glad that I got into it. For a change, I got into a group of good people. What the heck? How did that happen?
When I find out, I'll let you know. All right. This has been Reserved Seats. I want to thank everyone currently following along on X. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. I want to thank everybody who is here in the chat with us tonight. Bill, Connie, Lizzie, Sashi, Pleasant Valley, Mark Malnikoff, our resident Klingon. Let's see. Scrolling up, accounting sheet. JPRPH1. I'm scrolling up real fast because I don't like missing anyone. Of course, Troy and Netter. All right. So, Curtis, any final words before we close it out?
Just remember, Orange Man Bad. We have no independent thoughts of our own. We will just believe everything that they tell us, and we will obey blindly. That's all I got. Kind of killed the mood. Sorry.
Oh, and Gorilla Censored Thoughts. Sorry, I missed you in the chat. Thank you for being here. All right. So, from HQ and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond, good night. Take care. Stay strong. Be safe and healthy. Because this is how we win.